This is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the IMEC International Seminar and Call for Paper 2025, organized by the Association of Education Research of Indonesia in collaboration with Universitas Tanjung Pura and several international partner institutions. We would like to warmly greet and acknowledge the presence of Mr. Uray Salam, SPD, MCOL, PhD, as the opening speaker. Candidate Dr. Alvina Wildatul Fitriah, SPD, MPD, Chairperson of ARIPI. Our distinguished keynote speaker and invite speaker, and all respect participation joins today from various universities and countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the first we pray together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin this program by singing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. The item is provided by Gilang Ramadan. Terima kasih. Next, we have to opening speech delivery by Mr. Uray Salam, SPD, MCOL, PhD. Mr. Uray Salam, the floor is yours.
Yes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to send my regards to all the participants and the keynote speakers. Professor Dr. Surya Setiarini, and Dr. Balu Nurul Yakin, Dr. Siti Fatimah, Dr. Muhammad Nawaz Sharif, Dr. Ola Jumoke, and Dr. Intan Kusumawati, and all the participants who are present in the Zoom meeting, and also perhaps face-to-face in the room. I am myself away from Pontianak. I am currently attending the meeting in Universitas Negeri Makassar in Makassar, Sulawesi. Okay, today we are have the meeting on the International Seminar on Education for Harmony, Multicultural, Technological, and Sociocultural Innovation for Deep Learning and Inclusive Transformation. This topic is great topics, and I think that's like the buzzword today is the era of multicultural, the global village, and also the revolution of technology, yeah, the invention of AI. We are now living in what we call usually global village. The idea of global village is actually very long time ago when the invention of Silicon Valley. I remember, yeah, that idea because it is my birth date. Yeah, when I was born in 1971, and it is also invented Silicon Valley in California in 1971. Why this is the great point? I mean, the era, the introduction of silicon, because silicon is the material, yeah, to create or to develop chip, the chip for the computer. Was that microcomputer? Yeah. You know, the computers is really depends on the chips. Yeah. Like today we have the super fast computer AI, for example, because they have very super chip. Yeah. Now, by the advancement of technology today, then we call global village because it's, I mean, now we share, yeah, the village, yeah, because it's kind of borderless village. Yeah, we can communicate, we can share anything today using technology. Like, for example, it is not a problem today to communicate people around the world across the countries. As far as you have the ability to communicate, ability to share your ideas, so then it is no problem. Let me share a little, my research that I'm doing. I introduced to my student as the global communication projects. I call global communication project because I asked my student to initiate to communicate with people around the world. These projects challenge them not only to be able to use English effectively in daily life, in real life communication context, but also it's actually give them an opportunity to show their ability to communicate with strangers, yeah, with foreigners, with people who are not yet in their circle, who do not speak Bahasa Indonesia. So then they are struggling to really make the efforts to express their ideas. Yeah, and I like the project because that's really show the student ability, this soft skill, yeah, the ability, the skill in using technology. Yeah, I do not really ask them to pick up a certain technology, but I let them to choose technology that are easy for them, that they can use, yeah, as their own like interest. And this project show that now the student right now, what we call 21st century skills is really emphasize the ability to communicate, the ability to understand, to share cultures. Yeah. It is no longer that we are located in a very specific area and have a specific culture, but today we need to understand, and what I mean by understand here is not only cognitively understanding the culture, but also how we really appreciate the differences among us. No, I think that's the inspirations about the education today, to be inclusive. Inclusive is not only to welcome the disabled people, but also inclusive means that we welcome from different cultural background. So we are one. We are in one world. So we have to be able to share our ideas. To love each other despite differences that we have from our cultural background. So I think that's the main points that today's conference or seminars, yeah, we try to speak out loud, to share our ideas and how we introduce each other by using this seminar. So I would like to welcome everyone to share their ideas and perspectives. I hope that all students who are coming here, whether in person or in online Zoom meeting, so I hope that we can attend, yeah, and follow the programs enthusiastically and seriously. I think on behalf of the Faculty of Education, Universitas Tanjung Pura, I would like to declare that this conference is officially open, and I would like to say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim as the opening of our activities. Okay, I think that's all my speech. So once again, I would like to share, to express my gratitude to all the participants, particularly to all the speakers, the keynote speakers who are willing to come here and also to share the ideas. So we hope that in the future, the world become more friendly. We welcome every person from different cultural background. So thank you very much for your attention. I would like to say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Mr. Urai Salam, SPD MCall PhD from Universitas Tanjung Pura for the world and inspiring opening remarks. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Candidate in Alvina Wildatul Fitriah, SPD MPD, Chairperson of the Association of Educational Research of Indonesia, ARIPI, to deliver this welcome address. Madam Alvina, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Oke. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, dan salam kebajikan. Thank you for all of the time to give me. Firstly, let's thank to Allah, the Almighty, who has been giving us His love and blessing until we can meet together in this happy place and time. And secondly, may salawat and salam always be with our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam until we can meet in this Asian Day International Multicultural Education Conference, Image 2025. By the time education for harmony, multicultural, technological, and sociocultural innovation for deep learning and inclusive transformation. And before it, yang saya hormati Rektor Universitas Tanjung Pura beserta jajarannya, kemudian yang saya hormati pula dan saya banggakan Ketua Panitia International Multicultural Education Conference, dan yang saya hormati para narasumber dan para pembicara dari berbagai negara, serta rekan-rekan akademisi, peneliti, mahasiswa, serta seluruh peserta konferensi yang saya banggakan yang ikut serta dalam kegiatan kita hari ini. Oke, hadirin yang saya muliakan, kita hidup di era ketika pendidikan tidak lagi berdiri sebagai ruang yang netral, tetapi menjadi arena perjuangan untuk membangun harmoni di tengah keberagaman. Tantangan globalisasi, digitalisasi, dan transformasi sosial menuntut kita untuk memikirkan kembali makna pendidikan. Jadi bukan hanya sekedar sebagai transfer pengetahuan, tetapi juga sebagai proses memanusiakan manusia secara seutuhnya. Dengan tema besar ini, yaitu menyorot transformasi pendidikan yang menekankan keseimbangan antara harmoni sosial, kemajuan teknologi, dan keberagaman budaya. Dalam konteks global yang semakin kompleks, pendidikan tidak lagi hanya berorientasi pada hasil akademik, tetapi juga pada bagaimana proses belajar dapat membentuk manusia yang inklusif, reflektif, dan mampu hidup dalam keberagaman. Oleh karena itu, melalui tema Education for Harmony ini, yang diantaranya ada multicultural, technological, dan sociocultural innovation for deep learning and inclusive transformation, yang bekerja sama antara program studi pendidikan IPS dan pendidikan sosiologi Universitas Tanjung Pura dan Asosiasi Riset Ilmu Pendidikan Indonesia, yaitu ARIPI. Konferensi ini mengajak kita untuk meneguhkan kembali peran pendidikan dalam membangun dunia yang inklusif, yang adil, dan yang berkeadaban. Jadi pendidikan harus mampu mengintegrasikan multicultural value, technological advancement, dan sociocultural innovation agar mampu menjawab kompleksitas kehidupan modern tanpa kehilangan akar kemanusiaannya. Maka di sini saya sebagai pimpinan Asosiasi Riset Ilmu Pendidikan Indonesia, yaitu ARIPI, saya merasa bangga sekali dapat menjadi bagian dari kolaborasi ilmiah yang luar biasa ini antara program studi pendidikan IPS dan pendidikan sosiologi Universitas Tanjung Pura. Sinergi ini seperti menunjukkan bahwa riset dan kolaborasi lintas disiplin adalah kunci untuk melahirkan inovasi pendidikan yang berdampak luas, bukan hanya di ranah akademik, tetapi juga di kehidupan sosial masyarakat. Jadi saya berharap konferensi ini tidak berhenti pada diskusi dan publikasi ilmiah saja, tetapi menjadi gerakan intelektual yang nyata. Gerakan yang menegaskan bahwa pendidikan multikultural bukan hanya tentang memahami peradaban atau memahami perbedaan saja, melainkan juga membangun jembatan kemanusiaan yang menghubungkan kita semua dalam sebuah harmoni. Maka saya ucapkan selamat bergabung kepada seluruh akademisi, seluruh peneliti, mahasiswa, para pendidik dari seluruh negara yang join atau yang berpartisipasi pada kegiatan hari ini. Selamat bergabung dan selamat share ilmu seluas-luasnya. Akhir kata dari saya ucapkan selamat dan sukses atas terselenggaranya International Multicultural Education Conference ini. Semoga seluruh rangkaian kegiatan dapat menjadi wadah refleksi, inovasi, dan inspirasi bagi kita semua untuk terus membangun pendidikan yang inklusif, berkeadilan, dan berorientasi pada perdamaian global. Akhir dari saya, see you next time. And also, I join this Asian Day till the last. And thank you for moderator uh, for the time given to me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Dr. Alvina Wildatu Fitria, SPD MPD, for your echoing and visionary speech.
Okay.
My message inspired us all to the strength international collaboration and innovation in education. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, keynote session ya. This time participation, we now move to the keynote speech session. This is a great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Sulistiarini MSE, who will share the insight on education, harmony, and inclusive transformation. Prof. Sulistiarini, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Intan Kusumawati, Moderator. Give me the moment for this time. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the participant of this International Multicultural Education Conference today, and especially to Mr. Urai Salam, PhD, as the Vice Dean at the FKIP, Independent Peran University, and also to Candidate Dr. Alvina Widatul Fitria, and so to the speaker, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin, Dr. Siti Fatima Abdul Rahim, Dr. Muhammad Nazab, and so Dr. Ola Jumolo O, Olani Pekan, and Dr. Tuti Kusumawati, and of course to all of you, the participant this seminar, in the Zoom meeting, and also to the face-to-face in the room. Alhamdulillah, thanks to God that today we can meet in this event in the International Multicultural Education Conference. It's a very interested and very very important, I think, yeah, that in this moment we can share about the multicultural, especially multicultural education. For the first, I will thank you for the committee, for the organizer this seminar, to give me the opportunity to share and to discuss some about the multicultural in this moment. It is my pleasure, yeah, to join this event. Well, let me, for this occasion, I will share about some a topic, yeah, in this seminar. This is okay. Let me to share the screen first. Okay. Now, today I will talk about the education for harmony, a synthesis of multicultural, technological innovation, social culture awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, as we heard before, that talking about the multicultural is very interesting because in our daily activity, we are common with the diversity. We are common with the differences. We are common with the pluralistic. So that's today's world is a very dynamic. I think. It's a very dynamic. Uh, as we know, the globalization closely with the technology progress, closely with the high humanity mobility, and it is increasingly with the frequency about the intercultural intersection. Uh, as we know in Indonesia, as we we see that in Indonesia, cultural, ethnic, and religions and linguistic diversity is a very reality, uh, and it is the wealth. It is our wealth. It is the Indonesia wealth. But in the side, it is to uh, yes, like a stranger to us if it's not managed good. So it can become a source of tension. So that's why in this time, the theme about the educational for harmony is very important to talk in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of education, arguing that it must be built upon the pillars of multicultural technological innovation and social cultural awareness to foster inclusively transformation and a global harmony. And it examines how tense elements can be integrated to create equitable, relevant, and effectively educational system that prepares learners for the next complexities of the 21st century. So look, we can see this, how the synergy of the modern educational pillars. This is the three pillars, the main three pillars. As we know, the multicultural itself, technology innovation, and social culture awareness. Before we discuss more, uh, let me to remind us the first that about the multicultural. As we know that the multicultural is mean and we understand or we comprehend is about the recognition of appreciation of the cultural, appreciation of the ethnic, and appreciation of the religious and religious diversity in society. And in the context of education itself, this is related with the process of the forming attitudes, underlying forming attitudes, action, and the habits for living side by side in tolerance uh, for our students. And the second pillar is the technology innovation. This is very important to discuss in this time because we know that the technology innovation, it's mean in education. This is the use information and communication technology, ICT, as we know, this is an ICT uh, that we use in education. Yeah, like uh, uh, several of media that we use in the learning models and and also the utilize of technology that increase the effectivity in the learning. And the third pillars is the social cultures awareness. Social culture awareness in this means that, and we can comprehend this as cultural values. Cultural values are local uniques, yeah, cultural values, local uniques, and social challenges, I think. And how the education can educate uh, students uh, to be, yeah, more, to be to be better moral and tolerant and inclusive citizen. Now, if we look at the diagram find here, this is some, uh, uh, yeah, we know slice this is between multicultural technology innovative and social culture awareness. Now, in an increasingly interconnected world, multicultural is no longer a peripheral concept, but a central necessity in education. A multicultural approach to education and knowledge and celebrates the diversity of cultures, ethnicities, and languages and perspective within a learning environment. Now, it must be to be the tolerance to active appreciation and understanding. Yeah, and also it is can fostering empathy and respect among the students. Based on that, we can now be more understand that education is very important to yeah, to turn about the harmony, to turn about the multiculturalism in our life. Yeah, the multicultural education here about unveiling the dimension of multicultural education. First is cultural diversity. As we know, there are very kind of culture in the world, especially in our country, in Indonesia itself. There are so many diversity about the culture. And second is ethnic diversity and linguistic diversity and perspective diversity. Now, this is the pathway of education harmony. For this is about the challenge function to reading the nouns of perspective. Some of this activity tends to uh, yeah, to get the outcome of the education harmony itself, like critical thinking. Critical thinking is very important. How to make the student, how to make to everyone be have a good thinking and positive thinking and critical thinking. How they manage the information that they have and how they express about their opinion, their thinking about something that they have. It's a very important. And the second is communication skill. The communication skill this is needs to everyone. How they to communicate about the information, communicated about the want, communicated that the want, they not want, and communicated everything. This is very important. And and the third is creativity and innovation. Creativity and innovation, after they know, after their comprehension, after they can do what they want to do, and the last yeah, they can create what they want to express, what they want to to make it rise in the yeah in the activity or in the what they do in life. So creativity and innovation is the third. And fourth is social cohesion. Now, social cohesion is very important, as we know that uh, nowadays some individual, some people be like or be prevent stay in individuals. So if they want to connect each other, this is this make a good social cohesion. It's uh, very important to be or to make the harmony in life and harmony in education. Now, after we uh, complain about that, what the points about the multicultural and about the technology innovation and the social culture awareness. Uh, the question is how to implement them, the multicultural education itself. Now here in the reality, the multicultural education can be implemented with the at least in the fourth ways. The first is in the curriculum integration. In the curriculum integration itself, uh, yeah, how the curriculum design will be designed to include about the uh, diversity, about the pluralistic, like the languages, like the ethnies, like the yeah, another kind of diversity in life. Uh, it is can engage in the curriculum. And the second, cultural response pedagogy. In cultural response pedagogy, this is how the cultural include in the context of the pedagogy itself. Yeah, we can use the value in the cultural value in the local culture to the how to teach to the students. And the third is inclusive classroom environment. Yeah, this is the environment in the classroom. Yeah, make a the will make the condition to the student. Yeah, in learning. And the third, and then the fourth, the teacher training. Yeah, teacher training here. Yeah, we can give the train to the teacher to how implement it, how to integrate it, and how to respond the culture itself. Yeah, to make the design of instructional and to implement it itself in the class and how to make the daily activity with the student or with the school culture. Now, this is the transforming education with with the technology. As we know, uh, this is need how to make accessibility with the technology. As we know, technology help to how to be more information to the student to make the student more informed about something. Now, so that's the accessibility is a very important. We can be wide about the accessibility to the with the with the technology to get more information worldwide. Engagement. Yeah, this is engagement. And after that, personalization. How they be what the value, the special value personalized to the itself, to the student, to everyone. Like in Indonesia, we have the base of value, like value and Pancasila, how this is personalized to the student, not only teach them what the first state, the second, the third, the fourth, and the five, but the value itself in the last must be personalized to the student. So uh, beside that, online learning platforms, yeah, can design about the uh, online learning platform and interactive simulation. It's very important. Now, as we know, this is the digital revolution in education. Yeah, in the 21st century scale, there are some of skill that must be hands with the student, with everyone, I think, yeah. Yeah, for the first, we know that technology foster critical thinking, collaboration, and digital literacy. It must be involved in the education itself. Now, in personalized learning, how the learning must be tailored tailored experiences. Yes, it must be designed with the special needs to everybody to needs special need uh, of the students. As we know that in our class, as for example, in our class, the characteristic of our student is very plural, very diversity. So the teacher can design about the learners with a tailored experience like this. Yes, this is increased access and enhanced engagement. The same. Now, this is the social culture influence on learning. As we know, first, cultural values. Cultural values are very diversity in the in the society. Uh, we can bring this in the material of the subject matter in the class, and we can yeah, introduce this to our student about the variety of values in the society. As we know that the various values in the society, uh, yeah, they have a special value, special that were yeah, they're honored by the community itself. For example, we cannot comprehend about the religion's value and the culture's value uh, because this value have a special yeah price, special meaning for the community. And the second, community norms, as we can share belief and community norms. We can inform this, we can discuss this with the students to make them to understand about the community norms itself. And the third, family background. As we know that in the family background, it means in the family, they have special manners, they have special norm, they have special value based on the cultural value from what family is come from. So that's why how does what is the family background of the student itself? We can understand about this. And then the social economic status, uh, yeah, um, we can we can bring this to understand yeah, the activity or the habitation or what's the activity or what the term or what the yeah associated with the special social economic because someone or the society with a special status, they have the special manners, special ways, special opinions like that. So this is mean why the social culture awareness itself very important to implement it, to personalize to the student, to the yes, uh, yeah, to everyone. I think yeah. Now this is the cycle of social culture awareness in education. Uh, After we have the complaint about was the correlated between multicultural technology, innovation, and social cultural awareness. This is the cycle of social cultural awareness in education. The first, you must be build stronger relationship. The relationship can be built if the person understand, the person have the comprehend about the differences, about the diversity, about the many varieties of yeah diversity like values, culture, languages, and etc. After they know, the first must be knowing first. After they knowing, and the second they understand why this is diversity, why this is different, why it is uh, yes, not same with me, not same with us. After this, we yeah make to personalize to understand about this the diversity itself. And the uh, next step, this is tailor instruction. This means in tailored instruction, the teacher, yeah, I think the teacher should be understand about this. Uh, the first to the first to know very well about the characteristic of the student in the class. In the tailored instruction, the teacher, yeah, should be designed based on the needs of the student itself, because the student have diverse skill, diverse yeah, diverse skill, diverse uh, yeah, what's that varies, yeah. Uh, and the third, reduce achievement gap. This is the third step to reduce achievement gap. Yeah, as far we can, we should, yeah, to make understand to the student was it why this is different, why this more high and this is not, or no, like that. To make them comprehend, and we must be yeah reduce about the gap itself. So if it can be done like this, the student will understand and they will not, yeah, uh, yeah, yeah, they will not have negative thinking with others. And the fourth, that the first step is increase student engagement, and this is very important, I think. To increase student engagement is very important. Now, this depend on the teacher, how to manage in the class, how to manage the student to understand one to make honor, to make respond with the other. And so, and the last, be respect to others. Now, this is the enhancing between social culture awareness in education. Ladies and gentlemen, this is yeah based on the data we can uh, to make the community engagement itself, building partnership with family and community, we more intensively communicated with the families and community itself. The aims of education is that it very depends on the third component, I think. First, how to educate in the family, and the second, educated in the school, and the third, educated in the society itself. And second is cultural response assessment. Yeah, in the process of assessment, we can using the assessment method sensitive to student cultural backgrounds. So to design the assessment, we can base on the students' cultural background itself. And the fourth step is professional development. In this step, we providing the teachers with the opportunity to enhance their cultural competence, because no all of this teacher, I think, uh, have the what's that word? Have the skill in cultural competence. So that's why the teacher itself must be the enhanced cultural competence. Now, yes, as we know, this is the educational harmony pyramids. Yeah, it just remind us in the educational, we know about the pyramid in education to implemented this to get the goals of the harmony in education. So we remind about this. Yes, for the first uh, here's the yeah evolution and adaptation here to continuous assess and adjust efforts, and then to support in the integration itself. The collaboration must be encouraged and engagement with stakeholders and others, and the first to how to share the vision, our vision about this, our opinion about this, and our experience itself to emphasis and multicultural itself to uh, worldwide, I think, to the in the society. So the conclusion of this discuss is to achieving the harmony through education. For the first, we can embrace the multicultural itself, leverage technology, and cultivate awareness. It must be what's that consistent to run this, to know this, to make it habitual, and to implement it in a various manners, in learning with the various models, in learning with the various condition, in learning with the various uh, yeah a role model and etc. So if we can run this in activity in the process of learning itself, we make sure that the uh, harmony to education, we can achieve. Well, sorry, I think in the conclusion of our discuss today, I would say that, however, to achieve the harmony in education, we have, of course, we have some obstacles, I think, but we must sure that we can, to manage this. The obstacles, like digital device itself, like the teacher readiness, and utilize technology itself. So, the closing. yeah, to make ensure that technology, once again, I underline this, ensure that technology does not replace social and cultural values in its main, but the technology should be an agent for strengthening, not erasing local identities or the value itself. So I think it's enough. Thank you. I'm sorry for the for the something that not. Thank you, Mr. Intan. I close this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Intan. Thank you, Mr. Hadi. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Dr. Intan and Mr. Hadi Wiono.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Sulis. Dr. Rita. Okay, waiting for the Dr. Rita. Okay.
Baik, tadi di unmute ya. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sulistiarini, for the enlightening and thought-provoking presentation. We truly appreciate your contribution and valuable insight shared with the participants here today. Now, a panel session speaker presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue to the panel session featuring distinguished speaker from various university and country. This session will be moderated by Ms. Stella Francisca, SPD MPD. Allow me to introduce a lineup of speaker. Dr. Ola Jumoke Olanipekun, Dr. Siti Fatimah Abdurrahman, Dr. Nawasari, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin. Each speaker will divert this presentation followed by a short question and answer session. Without further ado, I kindly invite our moderator, Ms. Stella Francisca, to lead this panel session. Please, Ms. Stella Francisca. Ms. Stella Francisca? Still unmute.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh. Oke, Miss Stella
One,
Francisca.
bisa
Oke.
didengar suara saya?
Yes,
Ya, sudah Pak.
of course. Please, Stella Francisca, Miss.
Good morning, everyone. Warm greeting from Universitas Tanjung Pura, Pontianak, Indonesia. My name is Stella Francisca. I am a lecturer from the Department of Social Education, Faculty of Teachers Training and Education, Universitas Tanjung Pura. I'm truly an honor for me to serve as the moderator for these inspiring sessions of the International Multicultural Education Conference, IMEC 2025, organized by the Department of Sociology Education and the Department of Social Studies Education, FKIP Universitas Tanjung Pura, in collaboration with ARIPI. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce the beloved university and city. Universitas Tanjung Pura, located in Pontianak, the capital city of West Kalimantan, Indonesia, stands proudly on the equator line, making it one of the few universities in the world situated exactly where the northern and southern hemisphere meet. Pontianak is a city rich in cultural diversity where people from various ethnic backgrounds, Malay, Dayak, Chinese, and Javanese, and many others live together in harmony. I hope all of you one day can visit our beloved city in West Kalimantan, Pontianak. This diversity beautifully reflects the spirit of multicultural education, which is the very essence of our conference today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with our first distinguished speaker after the keynote speaker, a respected scholar from our neighboring country, Malaysia. It is our great pleasure to welcome Dr. Siti Fatimah Abdul Rahman from International Islamic University, Malaysia, IIUM, a prominent academic who has dedicated her work to multicultural education, teaching English as a second language, and technology integration of English language teaching in this global era. Her expertise span teacher professional development, educational technology, and multicultural approaches to English language teaching area that align closely with the theme of today's conference. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Siti Fatimah will presenting on a very relevant and timely topic entitled Redesigning Learning with a Flipped Learning. Before we invite her to deliver her presentation, allow me to share a short pantun. Yeah, because we are share the same Malay ethnic ya. Pergi ke seberang menyeberang lautan. Angin berhembus membawa harapan.
Cakep.
Indonesia dan Malaysia erat persaudaraan, bersinergi membangun pendidikan masa depan.
Cakep.
Ladies and gentlemen, through meaningful collaboration and the sharing of knowledge between our two nations, we can continue to build a more inclusive and sustainable future in education. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Siti Fatimah Abdul Rahman as she delivers her presentation on redesigning learning with flipped learning. Ma'am, with all respect, the screen is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Stella. Sorry. Okay. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And salam sejahtera. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me as one of your speakers, especially to University Tanjung Pura and also REP. Okay, I don't have to introduce myself anymore because that was a wonderful introduction from Stella. Thank you so much. And wonderful pantun too. Okay. I am from International Islamic University, Malaysia, situated in Gombak or Kuala Lumpur. Okay, I'm an assistant professor here uh, from the Department of Language and Literacy. So basically, I'm a TASA lecturer teaching training teachers. Okay, so let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, before we begin, how does this work? Do we have question in between sharing, or we finish the sharing first and then Q&A? Or perhaps we can just continue with my sharing session. Okay, never mind. All right, my topic for today's sharing session is redesigning learning with flipped learning. Okay, I hope this is not the first time you heard about flipped learning. I know some of you, or many of you, have heard about flipped learning or even have applied this into your teaching and learning. Okay, so what is wrong with our teaching approach right now? Okay, so when we talk about the traditional methods of delivering teaching and learning, so we can see that um, the stage on the stage, okay, the stage on the stage, where prominent educators or prominent teachers just stand at the front giving lecture or giving on chalk and talk to deliver the content without having so much effort in try to having a collaboration between the teacher and student and try to have a meaningful or engaging activities and whatnot. So the issue here still in 2025, we still have educators who do only chalk and talk, only lecture throughout the 2 or 3 hours in the classroom. So educators are still teaching the way they were taught in the past. So by doing this, by having only traditional method, it creates a one-size-fits-all pace and leave very little room for deeper exploration because there's only one way communication, right? There's only the educator or the lecturer who gives the lecture without student asking questions. Perhaps yes, one or two simple questions, but throughout the 2 or 3 hours, only lectures. So nothing much about two-way communication or collaboration between students, even so. Okay, so this I think this is a very crucial thing that we need to address, and there is a need that we actually revisit. We need to revisit the traditional conception of teaching, as well as at the same time to explore new ways to redesign learning. Okay. So how can we actually redefine and redesign? Okay, first thing that we must take into account with is redefining the conception of teaching. So let's be honest to ourselves. If we are the educators or teachers, we prefer the traditional chalk and talk mm, method of teaching. Do you think it's good or is it efficient? Hmm. Do we actually give favors to our student in understanding better? Okay, so we have to redefine ourselves as an educator to actually, what are we? At what stage or in what situation are we? What kind of roles that we actually help our student in learning? So second one is to redesign your students' learning experience. It's very important to actually to help with the student learning experiences. I do remember when I was in school, secondary school, I really like certain types of teachers, but I don't really, I didn't like certain type of educators. For example, this is just my own experience. Yeah? I don't generalize people, but I do love my English teachers, and by I don't really like my my certain ustads are very cool, but certain ustads are very strict, very very fierce. We were afraid to open our mouth to ask questions. So uh, but compared to our English teachers who are very fun. They did a lot of activities with us. So I myself, during that time as a student, I prefer to have that kind of relationship or that kind of rapport with my teacher. So I feel safe, especially when uh, I want to express myself. I want to answer questions. So I don't afraid to if I answer it wrongly. So I was very open about it. But in the different situation where I have a very prominent teachers who only just talk and talk, giving a lecture. So I was afraid to even to raise up my hand to ask questions. So those were my own experience as a student back then back in early 2000. So um, now it's 2025. Are we still doing the same? How about our students' experience in the classroom? Okay. Okay, this is a very famous quote by John Dewey. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. What does it mean? It means that we actually take the opportunity to learn better. We as educators, if we don't aware about this one, if we still give a traditional lecture, we just use chalk and talk, we actually uh, defeat the purpose of giving the actual experiences to our student. We don't serve the purpose as our truest role as educator to that by assisting them, but rather we just um, give lecture where we don't care whether our student understand or not, whether they can actually rephrase it on their own or actually apply it in their daily life. We don't care about those things. We don't care about our students' experience. So we think that we are correct by doing the traditional way. I'm not saying that traditional way is the worst method ever, but no, I don't say that. But we have to color our pedagogy, our methods in teaching, um, give more experiences to them, or else, yeah, I know. I myself back then, my teachers, all my teachers, I think 90% of my teachers did chalk and talk lecture, but I still I've become a successful version still, but in 2025, in the 21st century, we don't want that anymore. We want to unleash potential, our student potential in learning. We want to like dig deeper in that potential, what we can actually polish more on our student potential, and perhaps we can discover new things about our students, right? So, okay, next one. This is one of the ways of redesigning our teaching. Actually, there are a lot of, I think there are so many approaches, teaching approaches and teaching method in education that we can apply to redesign our learning or our teaching. For example, we have blended learning, we have project-based learning, we have inquiry-based learning, we have task-based learning, so many teaching approaches as well as teaching method that we can use in our classroom. But this is one of those ways that I found it a very practical, that it's not it's a very flexible method where we can actually integrate between flipped learning and other approaches as well. For example, we can integrate flipped learning and experiential learning. We can do that. But before we go deeper into flipped learning, let's we go the basic definition of flipped learning. What does it mean by flipped learning? Okay, flipped learning is a pedagogical approach. It's not a method; it's an approach in which direct instruction move from the group learning space to the individual learning space. And the resulting group space is transformed into a dynamic and interactive learning environment where the educator guides a student as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. Okay, if this definition is quite wordy and quite complex for you to understand, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is flipped learning in a nutshell. All right. So what happens actually in flipped learning? Okay, so we look at the diagram here. Okay, about flipped learning. Okay, what happens before the classroom? Okay, before the classroom, students prepare to participate in class activity. This is the simplest way, the simplest explanation of what flipped learning is. Okay, before student prepare, and then during the classroom, student practice applying key concepts with feedback from the teacher. Okay, this is happening in the class, the yellow one. And then after class, students check their understanding and extend their learning. So before and after, we have the student preparing to participate in classroom on their own. And then during the class, they have many meaningful activities. And after the class, you want our student to check their understanding, okay, to extend to understand deeper of the topic. All right. If this is not really clear for you, okay, let's take a look at the second one. Okay, this is the loop of having the flipped learning. Okay, so take a look at the pre-activities. Okay, read weeks assigned textbook chapter. This is just an example. Okay, or watch corresponding online lecture video. So this what students prepare at home before joining the class. Right. Next one, we go to the classroom. In class activity, write corresponding chapter quiz. Okay, participate in review of quiz answer. Listen to short lecture on pertinent topics. Okay, finish assigned practice problem set. Or give or observe relevant presentation. Again, this is just the examples of how we can, what is happening in a flipped classroom or in a flipped learning approach. Okay, next one, the post-class activity, we revisit difficult concept or attend tutorial session, visit instructor for help as needed. Okay, that is for tutorial at home. Okay, in a simpler way, flipped learning is we push the content, the normal content that we always give lecture in the classroom, we push it away from the class, outside of the class, and students spend time at home reading the notes or watching videos of the content before they really gets into the classroom. So people will ask me how to ensure that a student actually read or watch the video or understand whatever in the video or in the text or in the simple notes given by the lecturer or teachers. So before the class begins, what lecturers or educators can do is to have a simple quiz on that specific content. So why do we have that? Because we want to ensure that our students read. So by having a very simple pop quiz, they know that teacher will ask, okay, now when I come to the class, teacher will ask me about the topic. I better read. I better watch the video before going to the classroom. So by having the simple pop quiz or simple Q&A session, we educators can actually ensure that our student actually read at home uh, or actually watch the video or revise the topic. Only then we can go, we test their understanding first, only then we can proceed with the meaningful activities such as a debate, such as a presenting whatever they have understood prior to classroom, or sharing, as simple as the sharing session, presenting to their friends what they understand about the topic in the simplest way, in the simplest manner that a student or their friends can actually understand better. So perhaps when we in higher education classes, when they read about the theories at home, so in the classroom, they can actually discuss further on the theories. For example, this one theory talks about this A and B and C, but perhaps in the classroom, what students can do is to having a debate of it, whether the statement by A, B, and C are correct, or perhaps it was done in 1980s or 1970s, so it's no longer relevant at this age. So perhaps we need to find better research or recent research that says otherwise, or contradictory with whatever we have discussed in the text. Okay, because usually in theoretical based topic, we always look on the 1970s, the earliest perhaps the 1940s, and in Western countries, 1940s, 1950s, up to 1990s. So this is already 2025, 21st century. So perhaps we have already done better research and more bigger sampling. So the result might be different. So in the classroom, we might come up with the debate activity where students can actually debate on what's wrong, what's not, or we can look at certain perspective in different way, in different direction. So that is about the meaningful learning. So other than that, we can have in-depth discussion rather than debate, or perhaps a simple forum, or can we do other fun activity? For example, games. Yes, we can do that. We can have a interactive games in the classroom. We can have the role play, or even having dialogues, whatever you think is appropriate to the topic. Because let me just tell you this, not to warn you, but as the flipped learning expert, I would say that not every topic or every courses or every subject is suitable to be flipped. So we gotta know whether our content is flippable or not. For example, when I teach phonology or phonetic symbols and whatnot, I cannot flip that subject because it's too practical. So I have to teach just like we do in a traditional way. Plus, I embed some gamification in my class. So yes, it is boring to have a lecture, but whether I like it or not, I cannot flip that one. But still, I want my students to have fun, to experience learning. So I use gamification. I play games right after one topic. Every single topic, we're done, and we go into a game session. Okay, so that is a meaningful learning. So during the post-class activity, we must actually, this is like optional, whether we want to do or not. Revisit difficult concept. If the topic is very easy and straightforward, we don't really have to revisit or to revise. But if the topic is very theoretical based or very difficult, perhaps it is for senior students. We think that this is very crucial. We want to actually revisit the concept of it, and by perhaps we can have some sets of questions for them to answer at home. Okay, or perhaps we can ask them to come up with a set of questions that they want to ask to the next session. So I can see that flipped learning promotes meaningful learning, active learning, collaborative learning, clarification, and whatnot. So we don't want to have the lecture anymore in our class session. We don't want any chalk and talk or lecture, boring lecture, 3 hours straight listening to our own lecture. I know we can speak like 3 hours straight, no problem at all, but we want the engagement, the student engagement. I don't want my student end up falling asleep in my class while me giving lecture and short sendiri at front. I don't want that. I want a very responsive interaction with my students. I want to see the reciprocal processes in my class. I want students to be very active. I want my student to use their critical thinking and why this is happen, why this is not, and how I can use it in my classroom later, and how can I apply this in my daily life and whatnot. So it goes back to our intention as lecturer, and again, we need to revisit our role as teacher or educator. Okay, because whatever we do in class, that is actually what shapes our student future. So that's a very big responsibility for us. Let's go to the next one. Okay, how does our brain work? Okay, this is a very famous pyramid. Okay, on how much percent that we remember. Okay, 10% of what we read. We only remember 10% of what we read. We only remember 20% of what we hear. We only remember 30% of what we see. So we remember 50% of what we hear and see. Okay, 70% of what we discuss with other. Right? we already hear and see, and then we discuss with the other, we are able to remember 70% of it. Okay, the 70% is quite heavy. All right, 80% of what we experience personally. Okay, and then the last one, 90%, we remember 90% of the topic or the content of what we teach to others. Okay, so remember when we talk about meaningful learning just now, the student read it first at home, and then not really teach, but share with your friends in the classroom. By doing that, actually, it helps the student themselves 90% to remember, to remember 90% of the things that he or she actually read at home. Okay, I hope I'm making sense here. Okay, next one. Okay, this is another learning pyramid by National Training Laboratories made. Okay, it's actually similar to the previous pyramid. Okay, but this one is divided into two portions. The top tier and the lower part of it. Okay, it's divided into half. We can see that the first 5 up to 30% is considered as passive teaching methods. Are we that passive? Do we actually apply passive teaching methods in our classroom? So, how to distinguish whether we are using a passive teaching method or not? The first one, lecture. Lecture is on the top tier, the least the least retention rates that you can actually help a student to memorize things by having a lecture, 5%. Okay, 10% by reading. Okay, 20% is by having the audio-visual teaching aid, and 30% by having the demonstration or simulation that you provide in the classroom. Okay, what about the participatory teaching methods? Okay, the lower part, so the most important part. Okay, take a look at the 50% discussion group. Okay, we allow students to discuss among themselves to get better ideas and to gain more resources. Okay, 75% by practice by doing. So we allow them to discuss and we ask them to practice. Perhaps in the language setting. Okay, I don't want to talk about the science one because I'm from social sciences. So we always talk about language and communication and whatnot. Okay, so practice by doing is, for example, having the role play, having the dialogue, simple dialogues and whatnot. And the last one, 90% by teaching others. Okay, so if you ask me how do I actually flip my classroom, I give the notes, a simplified notes very early. In fact, I give everything on the very first class. You know, we have 14 weeks of semester, the whole semester we have 14 weeks. On the very first class, I will set up some ground rules and I share all the assignments, all the notes, together with the references, textbooks, all the rubrics, how they should know how they will be evaluated while they are doing the presentation letter, or if they have a written assignment, how they will be evaluated by having the written assignment. Okay, so I share the notes, the reference tags, the rubrics, as well as the course plan. So they will know what will happen in the next 14 weeks on the very first day. Okay, whether I like it or not. If let's say this semester I got 2 extra new subject, I have to prepare beforehand, before the semester starts. So I have to put more effort in preparing the notes. Yes, we have the text, but I simplify the notes into a specific topic that this is the one that you should cover in, for example, topic 7. So I assign my student to actually to give a sharing session according to the topics. Not all, but only a simple or on the simple topic that I think my student can deliver. Okay, so everyone gets the whole thing on the very first day. So I know it's very tough for them to they won't read all the 14 topics in one go. That's very impossible. Okay, but I always remind them after one class, for example, I ended the class yesterday. So yesterday's class, I asked them to don't forget to read topic 5 before we start next week. But I already assigned those who need to actually present the topic or sharing. I don't want to call it a presentation, even though in my rubric I wrote it as the oral presentation. But if we can actually go into the details of the my rubrics, you can see the elements of sharing opinion, Q&A session, the activity, or the games that they need to carry out. One particular game to deepen their just understanding of the very topic. So by having that, they actually read before coming to the class. They read at home. They prepare the slides, a simple sharing sessions, and then when they come into the classroom, they start sharing, and the rest of the class will actually start asking question or even disagree or having arguments. Is a very much encouraged in my classroom. That is that correct? I know this pioneer had the research on back in 1957. Are we still having that, or is still relevant or not? What do you think? So there are a lot of discussion going on in my classroom, and I always ask a critical question. For example, if you because my student are the trainee teachers, they will be teachers. Okay, after they have done with the 4 years of bachelor degree. So I always address them as teachers. So let's see, we talk about this particular theory, how they can actually apply that into their classroom. For example, the operant conditioning. How do you want to actually condition your student to like to learn English? Or how you want to condition your student to actually to practice speaking English inside your classroom or perhaps at home. So those are the critical things that I encourage students to discuss rather than okay, this theory is about this theory is from B.F. Skinner. We talk about the operant conditioning. Okay, so the rats is being reinforced by having the positive and negative reinforcement, and so that's a very boring. And sometimes, when we have that kind of a classroom or that kind of lecture, some student will fall asleep, and they don't get the real experience and in refusing or refuting or to disagree or to actually have better ideas on certain element, even though it's from pioneers or even from the researchers, because to have our student to actually throw ideas is very difficult. We need time to actually make them familiar with our approach, our teaching approach. Okay, so next time when we see them again in the next semester, they have already set their mind that, okay, this particular lecturer is very particular about her classroom, her sharing session or her presentation. She doesn't like to have a normal traditional classroom, but rather to have this certain approaches in her teaching. So we set up our own profile and our student will follow. Okay, so by having to teach others, we can actually retain their memory or retain their knowledge by 90%. So this is very much important for me I don't want my student to memorize, but rather to understand it, to understand the key concept of something and able to apply it in their daily life, whether it's currently or in the future, right? Okay, why we should flip our classroom? Okay, for
One,
students,
I do
it
apologize.
promotes a
We still have
self-paced
15 minutes.
learning. They can like read whenever they have motivation, but in this certain period of time, okay, deeper understanding to create deeper understanding. Why? Because they will read so many times. They read to get to know about the topic. They read in order to prepare themselves to for the presentation, and then they discuss again in the classroom and whatnot. So there are many layers of uh, knowledge transfer or knowledge learning in this pace or deeper understanding. Okay, more ownership. We can actually uh, decide on what to perhaps the educator or the lecturer has provided the student with a simple note, but they can actually go search on the internet or ask AI about it, and then also it develops critical thinking. Okay, as for the teachers, we have a richer student interaction. Yes, like what I do in my classroom, we have a very not to say serious, but a meaningful discussion with my student, and I can see everyone's face feels very delightful whenever we ended our class. Uh, we can see the satisfying faces of my student that they can actually share their own experience, your own thought, your own voice. So we have the real-time feedback, yes, because we have a lot to discuss in the classroom. Professional creativity, reclaim to your role. So this is our roles to actually to provide deeper understanding to our student, to be a very impactful or very effective classroom. So this is our rules as teachers. And for the classroom, it's a very inclusive, student-centered. It's no longer teacher-centered. Builds a learning community. When we talk about builds a learning community, when we do a lot of discussion and debate and whatnot, we actually help them to create them into a community where they love to think, and also of course focuses on mastery, because flip learning not only gives them meaningful or promotes meaningful learning, but a deeper understanding of the topic. Therefore, they can master it compared to the traditional ones, right? Next one. So other than that, flip learning also enables students to access to tools and technology, where in my 14 weeks of classes, we met 28 times, and they have like half of the weeks and half of the classes are their time to share their topic, and I would assign them to only use
Excuse me,
different
ma'am.
kind of
I'm sorry.
tools or technology. Or
I'm
if they want, if
Excuse me,
they
ma'am.
don't want to use technology, it's fine. They can have a very simple activity such as Q&A, sharing experiences and whatnot. So um, I don't want to see Kahoot every single week. No, I don't want to see any more quizzes. It's fine if only one or two group uses a similar quizzes booklet, Kahoot, but not every group. Okay, next one is engage in rigorous content. Okay, immerse in diverse learning because we have so many interesting topic. Collaborate with peers, especially in doing the projects together. Support the learning process, and also access to immediate expert feedback, which is a lecturer. Okay.
Dr. Siti,
Okay.
unfortunately, the time is over. We are very happy to see
Okay,
and
very
to
quickly,
hear.
this is how you can actually start doing your flip classroom or using flip learning. Okay, number one, start small. You don't have to flip your entire
Okay,
class
Siti,
tomorrow.
you listen to my
Okay,
voice.
perhaps you want to identify one or two topic of the rest of your semester.
Dr.
You can
Siti,
like pick one or two topics to flip. Okay, to try it and error. Number two, select a single self-contained lesson or concept that student often struggle with. Number three, to create, find or create a short 5 to 7 minutes video. A simple screencast on your laptop is perfect, but you can do as simple as giving a simple note. Okay, design, plan an in-class activity that forces application, a lab, a debate, or complex problem set. Okay. Okay, now I think I running out of time. I'm going to conclude my sharing session today. Okay, flip learning is a powerful framework for designing the learning experience that is promotes a lot of meaningful and engaging learning and also active learning. Okay, it's not about the videos that we educators prepare. It's about reclaiming the most valuable resource we have, which is our time together in the classroom, the interaction between the teacher and students. Okay, it's about moving from a model of passive reception to one of active mastery. It's a shift that benefits everyone and truly prepares students for a world that demands critical thinking and collaboration. We don't want our students to be very passive in the class. We want to encourage critical thinking and working with their group mates for collaboration. So if you still need things, or you can simply Google, or this is the very famous flip learning website. You can find fliplearning.org on the website, and these are some of the tools that you can use to actually to conduct the flip learning. Okay, with that, I end my presentation or my sharing, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Clap, 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 clap for Dr. Siti Fatimah. Thank you very much, Dr. Siti Fatimah Abdul Rahman, for such a comprehensive and thought-provoking presentation on redesigning learning with flipped learning. Your presentation has given us valuable insight into how technology can empower both teachers and students to take more active role in learning process. The
Stella, I cannot hear
concept of
you.
learning truly reminds us that education today is not only about transferring knowledge, but also about transforming the way students think, collaborate, and create. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the next session with our second distinguished speaker. Please stay with us as we continue this inspiring journey of learning and collaboration. Mr. Aan Ko as the next moderator, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Stella.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aan Posihan, that will be the moderators in this session. But first of all, allow me to invite Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin to join the Zoom. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin, allow me to introduce or briefly introduce yourself based on the profile that committee sent to me. May I?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will briefly introduce Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin. Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin is an assistant professor of Malay Language, Linguistic and Literature Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, University Brunei Darussalam. He earned his PhD from University Malaya, his master from Undiksa, and bachelor from the Universitas Teknologi Mataram. His research interest or research area is in cultural linguistic, pragmatics, sociolinguistic, AI, and education. And today, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin will present a presentation entitled Language and Social Solidarity in Multicultural Communities for Social Cohesion. For Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin, are you ready to present this topic?
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Time
is yours.
tremendous. Thank you for the very kind introduction just now. Let me share my slide first. You only have 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's already in.
We have 20 minutes to present. Okay, everyone. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is a pleasure to be here at the International Multicultural Education 2025. Okay, today I will explore how language functions as a bridge of social solidarity in multicultural setting. So I give my presentation title today is Language and Social Solidarity in Multicultural Communities for Social Cohesion. Actually, this is the insight from the Kampung Melayu Ampanang Lombok, yes, Indonesia. The questions begin with the question is how does language reflects and shapes interethnic relationship in Kampung Melayu Ampanang? And this uses an ethnography of communications approach to understand how people interact across the ethnic line in daily life, especially in Kampung Melayu. And also, the study assumes here that Ampanang Malay functions as a symbol of collective identity, blending linguistic elements from various ethnic groups. And then it is also rests on the idea that the identity and solidarity are the socially constructed, and that language plays central roles in the buildings and maintaining these connections. Okay, this is our business today to talk about this assumption, first and the second, and then the last is we're going to give you the framework or prototype how to solve and how to make multicultural communities easy to communicate in daily lives within the life in harmony. Okay, Lombok, located in West Nusa Tenggara, is home to more than 5.5 million people and covers area about more than 4,000 square kilometers, right? So this is the maps of the Lombok, and it is the Kampung Melayu Ampanang. Okay, and then the island's population ethnically diverse, with the Sasak people as the majority, and significant Malay, Balinese, Arab, and Chinese communities. And however, the focus of our insight today is the area of Kampung Melayu is one of the Lombok's oldest urban settlements and historic town where different ethnic and linguistic traditions have interacted for the centuries. Why? Because to understanding this context help us to see how language diversities has become deeply embedded in daily social life, especially in the Lombok and in Kampung Ampanam of West Nusa Tenggara. Okay, Kampung Melayu Ampanam is often described as an historical hub of Lombok. So it is a very historic town. It's where Lombok history begins in 1800, where the Malay community here represent a long-standing group whose identity is tied to boards. Okay. And then the place of the language diversity in this place. The Ampunan Malay, for example, the Malay language serve as key markers of the belonging. It reflects self-history and act as a bridge among diverse ethnic residents and understanding. This community allow us to see how language, identity, and space interact to maintain cultural community amidst diversity. So based on the map here, the Malay language is the spoken by the Malay community in this area. Because why we strengthen this point? Because Malay language will be different with the Brunei or Malaysia, but the unique of the Kampung Melayu Amfanan is the use of Malay language with the with different dialect, with the very diverse communities at its place. Okay. First, I call this being Malay in non-Malay land because we have seen Lombok's demographic. So the question is of Malay identity in space that is geographically outside of traditional Malay heartland. If we see here from for example, here is Brunei, and then this is Malaysia, the heartland of the Malay communities, and also Sumatra, and etc., maybe Thailand, and also, and we see it is the Lombok. It's very far from the heartland of the Malay traditional Malays community. However, we would like to see that this paradox of this Kampung Melayu Ampenan that culturally and identity it look like a Malay. So they call this kampung is Kampung Melayu. So this is suggest a homogeneous Malay settlement, but in reality, this community is deeply pluralistic. It is Malay speech located in non-Malay land, as I said before. So they're surrounded by the Sasak, Balinese, Arab, Chinese, and other ethnic groups. This create interesting identity of products. If we see the people, for example, identity as Malay, yet their daily life, language practices are shaped by continuous interaction with non-Malay cultures. For example, the Malayness, therefore, is not static. It is constantly negotiated, redefined in the context, and adaptation and coexistence of such cultures. Okay, these are the reasons why my statement is Malay people in Kampung Melayu is in non-Malay land. Because Lombok history, if we see that the Lombok history is shaped by the diverse cultural influences, primarily from the Majapahit, Balinese kingdom, alongside Malay and Islamic tradition. The Sasak people, native to Lombok, have a cultural practices distinct from the Malay, such as might be very well known is the Merari or the elopement ceremony, or we call in Malay is the Kawin, for example. Unlike the Malay worlds of the Sumatra, the Malay Peninsula, Lombok develops under different historical and administrative system. It is making this non-Malay environment for the Malay community in Havanan. Despite these differences, the Malay have maintained their identity and tradition, adapting the local social structures while preserving the religious and linguistic distinctiveness. We see here that the geographical, social structure, historical, very different with the Malay communities. So I call it Malay. There is a Malay in Lombok in non-Malay lands. This is my argument to say that this is not Malay land. And we see the ethnic groups in Amphonan, that very multicultural community that compose many ethnic groups living side by side. For example, this includes the Sasak, Balinese, Chinese, Banjar, Bugis, for example. We call it, for example, orang saya or Malay background. This we call it orang saya is the Malay background. Jamaah from the Arabic, Awal from the Sasak people, and then orang Daeng from Bugis, and Bohoda is from Chinese identity, Bimbo is from Bima, Tangi, European descent. This is the ethnic groups in Ampanan. And then they have the next unique name based on the Campanans communities. And what we see here, the Sasak communities, the majorities among the others communities. Okay, let me see the linguistic landscape. Ampanan's linguistic landscape is rich and dynamic, shaped by the interaction of these seven ethnic languages, including Malay, Arabic languages, okay, Chinese, Balinese, and Sasak language. Okay. This language contributes to multilingual fabric of daily communication. We will see later how the language and social solidarity embed in this multilinguistic daily communication. While Bahasa Indonesia serves as the national language, and local and ethnic language also remain vital, expressing identity, intimacy, and belonging. Okay, this is the theoretical foundations of the language and social solidarity that we use to observe this, how the language and social solidarity give impact to the multicultural communities based on the ethnographic communication framework by Campus in 1982. It feels that language not merely as the tool for communication, but as a form of social action. One that reflects that shapes communities' norm, power, relation, and social ties. What is related with the Kampung Melayu Ampenan? The language use reveals how people construct identity and express solidarity across the ethnic boundaries. Okay, let me see the contextual meaning, interactional, cultural norm, and interactional patterns of based on this network of communications by examples. And the second historical underpinning that we use is the address form for solidarity based on the Front and Guzman in 1960. Address form plays central role in expressing respect, familiarity, and social hierarchy. For example, each group contribute to unique terms of address. Okay, for example, here, Sasak, the address form is we call it Mami, Ama, Ina, Nini, Papu, to call the family trees. For example, father, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, and etc. And then also we have the Malay language, Inci, Unang, Uning, Aci, Maci, Acim, Cici, and etc. And also in Bahasa Indonesia, Bapak, Ibu, and etc. And Bugis also is with different response of all the communities. The form actually is to often use across ethnic boundaries, showing how people borrow linguistic element to express solidarity and inclusiveness. Okay. That we see here, the linguistic landscapes, for example, in Kampung Melayu, Ampuna, is a multilingualism and context dynamic. In daily life, people in Kampung Melayu Ampenan navigate a highly multilingual environment. For example, from 6 main languages, Malay, Sasak, Arabic, Indonesia, and Banja or Chinese, are actively used in communication rather than competing. These languages complement one another. To enriching social interaction and expressing different layers of identity. Okay, this is very important in Kampung Melayu Ampenan from the perspective of linguistic landscapes. Then, if we see here, the languages in Ampenan show both community and change across generation. Older generation, for example, tend to preserve heritage languages such as Malay and Sasak, and maintaining also traditional form of speech and address. However, the younger generations, influenced by education and ethnic merit, and increasingly, for example, Bahasa Indonesia as a medium in schooling promote national language fluency using transmission of heritage, the languages in Kampung Melayu Ampenan. Okay, let me see the address form of social symbols. Why this issue is very important? Because the Kampung Melayu Ampenan, the language function as a bridge of solidarity rather than barriers address them. For example, like Malay, show respect, invoke kinship, acknowledge hierarchies within one in this community. Iti, Nanang, and Ana in Arabic, Inti, Ahwal in Arabic. So when community members adopt from the ethnic group, for example, they demonstrate culture's openness and mutual recognition. For example, this small act of linguistic borrowing transform difference into shared belonging, reinforcing the idea that language is in social harmony. We can see that, for example, here that the personal pronoun that by reference languages ethnic association. In the pronoun address form ethnic and social dimension that the Kampung Ampenans use in their daily life communication. This is the example that the multilingual aging in context. For example, this is the Oki is the Japanese peoples. And Ena is the Malay people. So, for example, Ena Cici masa pakai bunga segala. Okay. The excerpt here show people borrowing and blending address form from different languages. Malay, Chinese, Arabic, Japanese, Sasak, and more. For example, the speaker used the Chinese-derived term Cici, meaning older sister, within the local Lombok Malay sentence. This form of address originally from Chinese Hokkien, Cici. Okay, and then now widely used in Ampenan by non-Chinese speaker as friendly affectionate term. So cross-ethnic borrowing People use it to sound warm, polite, and familiar, even when neither party intended. So saying Titi to neighbor is not just about age or gender. It is a social signal friendness and belonging. For example, the second example is for example, ngutang meh bilang kukutan. Okay. The Chinese term for others brothers. Kuku is the Chinese term for others brothers. Here again, non-Chinese speakers use it casually in everyday interaction. In this context, kuku function in terms of camaraderie rather than ethnicity. It's present how Chinese words have become part of the shared linguistic repertoire of the entire community. And Doris, for example, is the sampean. Sampean is one is a great form, but the use by the Batak people. Sampean, saya anda bisa bergerak di sini. What does it mean that the ethnic address term that reveal cultures blending in the Melayu communities is very clear. Look at their daily life communications. Okay, this show that the functions, the language functions as a tool of inclusion in multicultural communities. So language is very important to make the communities live in harmony. Because what the people says about the language is language not only saying something, but also doing something. So be careful with the language. Language able to make destroying something and able to make our life in harmony. One of the most distinctive features in Ampanan is the interethnic borrowing with the mixing and culture integration. Interethnic borrowings, the fluid use of the words from different languages, terms like, for example, Kiki from Chinese or Nang from Banjar are now shared expression used across ethnic boundaries. Okay, is the borrowing symbol for the shared language and the linguistic borrowing is symbolic hospitality and then the creating inclusive social fabric by the ethnic borrowing of those languages. Okay, this is the solidarity in interaction language in everyday life. If we see the something interactional term, people use borrowed or friendly address term like Nang and Abang to turn strangers into friends. This small linguistic gesture that I believe that instantly creates warmth and belonging. Then linguistic inclusion strategies, saying, for example, Nang, where are you going? Is, for example, this is the Banjar term. To someone outside your ethnic group, signal that you are very open and share identity. Such terms actually make interaction personal, not anonymous. This is the very important in multicultural communities to live in harmony. And then the language choice expressing the unity. Code switching, for example, borrowings are not just stylistic, they are acts of unity. And every mix of Malay, Sasak, or Arabic word express cooperation and respect. And then the last is multilingual creating empathy. Knowing using multiple language helps people understand one another's worlds, creating empathy and smoother social relations. This is the most importance of the language in the solidarity interaction. What the key takeaways we can see here is the how language operates both of social tool and symbol of identity in multiple contexts like Zampana. Is the language is dual function. Language is not only for communication, Yes, correct. It is also expressed belonging and self-identity. Every word conveys both meaning and membership in the community. Will be very influenced to the community's harmony. And then dress form of social tool. Like dress form, for example, enci, pakci, cici, nanang, the instruments of solidarity, the balance, hierarchy, and inclusion in daily interaction. And then the mixing, sustaining harmony. Mixing practices actually actively sustain harmony with this diversities, amid diversities rather than threatening cultural integrity and social cohesion. And the last is the ethnographic insights for education. Why? Because in ethnographic insights for education, the funding can inform inclusive education, teaching linguistic diversity as resource for cultural understanding and social cohesion. I think this is very important. What the first speaker also talked just now about the education, inclusivity education. Okay, it is very important for as an ethnographic insight for education. And for example, for the policy implication, the English language integration should integrate heritage language into multicultural education instead of creating a local language barrier. Use them, for example, a valuable cultural asset, strengthen the student identity inclusion in intercultural communication training. So, solidarity in Kampung Melayu Ampenan remind us that linguistic diversity is not challenged to be managed, but a pathway to peace to be cultivated. Okay, I think this is the most important. And then come up to the framework to understanding language in multiple communities that we offer the project that has developed a conceptual model that what we call the community linguistic harmony framework. The community linguistic harmony framework that's currently at the prototype development stage. The framework integrates ethnographic funding with the digital mapping and discourse analysis to illustrate how language practices shape identity, solidarity within the multicultural environments. Okay, what we include in the futures of the CLHF framework is we will visual model representing linguistic interaction pattern across ethnic vendors, maybe in non-Malayaland, such as in Indonesia, Thailand, maybe also we have Malay people in Australia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and other countries. And then we will digital database for storage recorded interviews with transcripts and fieldwork observation, and analytical tool for the identifying communication strategies. So the framework is being validated through ongoing fieldwork in Kampung Melayu Ampana. So we will develop this framework later on. Then we are now also with Reels community data support, requirement, and one completed CLHF will serve as a basis for an interactive web platform or an educational toolkit that can be adapted for multicultural training, community engagement, and policy development, thereby the bridging research, innovation, and practical application with farms. And then the linguistic landscapes of Kampung Melayu Ampanan offers a powerful reminders that social cohesion in multicultural communities is built not through linguistic uniformity, but through linguistic flexibility, mutual recognition, and everyday acts as intercultural communication. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope this presentation has shows how language serves as both cultural heritage and foundation for social harmony in diverse communities in multicultural communities in Indonesia and around the world. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin, for your presentation. It's really, really fruitful and meaningful presentation, and we got so many insight by your presentation. Just like you mentioned, the importance of the language for the community. It's not only talk about the contextual meaning, it's talk also about the intercultural patterns and uh, cultural norm as well. It is really, really important for the community, and I think that many students from this Universitas Tanjung Pura just know that there is a Kampung Melayu in Lombok Island, and it's really interesting. And I also impressed with your words language as everyday harmony. I think it is a really, really nice and good word because language sometimes is only defined as tools of communication, but you mentioned that it's beyond the tools of the communication itself. So thank you so much. We will be meeting on the question and answer section after this, but we still have a third presenter, and I will pass this moderator mic to Miss Stella.
Thank you very much for our second speaker, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin from the University of Brunei Darussalam, for such insightful and inspiring presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue our journey of learning and sharing. We now move from Brunei Darussalam to the beautiful and diverse land of India. Before we welcome our next speaker, allow me to share a short pantun. A pantun is a traditional form of Indonesian and Malay poetry. It usually has 4 lines, where the first two set the scene and the last two deliver the message. It's often used to express wisdom, joy, and friendship in a poetic way. Here is the pantun. Mentari pagi menyinari samudra. Burung berkicau di ranting cemara. Indonesia dan India bersinergi bersama membangun pendidikan menuju dunia yang berwibawa. No worries, sirs. I will translate. The pantun means just like the morning sun that shines across the sea. May Indonesia and India continue to work together in harmony to build a world of meaningful education. So that's the meaning, sir.
So sweet.
Hopefully you like it.
Yes, I love
And
it.
now it's my great pleasure to welcome our third distinguished speaker, Dr. Nawaz Sarif from Adamas University, India. Dr. Nawaz Sarif is a respected scholar recognized for his contribution to educational innovation, mental health, and multicultural approaches to learning. Today, he will share his presentation titled Reimagining Harmony Through Digital Pedagogies Towards an Inclusive and Culturally Responsive Education. This topic deeply aligns with our conference theme as it explores how digital pedagogy can nurture inclusivity, cultural understanding, and harmony in education. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Nawaz Sarif from Adamas University, India. Dr. Nawaz, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And Assalamu alaikum to everyone who joined this morning session. I was since before starting, I was in the meeting only conference. I have joined early morning. I was listening to every one of you, starting from the opening speaker, then keynote speaker, then two resource speakers. They have spoken in a so depth way that I felt so blessed in this morning. Like I got this opportunity, and I got this opportunity for this platform to come and join and share what I have accumulated over the past few years during my teaching career. And basically, the topic I have taken for this talk, I kept in mind like students, like there are huge number of participant students there. They have they're giving their like engagement here. So let me tell you about the place I belong to. Like I basically belong to from Malda district, like the middle part of West Bengal, and now I'm working in Kolkata. I think every one of you know the place, the Kolkata, like British India. During British India, it was the capital city of British India. So before let me highlight some few terms before I start the lessons talk. Uh, the inclusive educations, the types of education that we nowadays focusing on inclusive educations. But let me tell you the history behind this process. It's not like all of a sudden we started. It's a way, if you trace the history, you can see like it was UNESCO in the late 90s, 1990s, when conducted conference, and there are nations, like different nations, they have joined, and they have uh, given the convictions that yes, this is the process, this is the types of education that we should provide in India also. Like if you talk about 20 or 30 years before, 30 years before, then that time education like inclusive, that time there was no inclusive educations. uh, that time students, those with disabilities, or the learning difficulties, or maybe a special kids, a special children's, either maybe hearing problem, visual problem, or orthopedically handicapped, they were not in the same school. They were not like in the same institutions. For them, there were different like special schools. Still, if you visit in India, there are like different special schools where those school only meant for the children with different kind of disabilities. But later one, uh, there is another approach for the educations, that is integrated educations. In integrations means like they will be partially allowed to sit enroll in the same institutions, but there will be separate classes for those children, for those students, with not same syllabus, not same teachers, but they will share the same playground, they will share the same flow, they will share the same library, but there was not same everything. So that was the integrated, like first a special educations, then integrated educations. Then now, especially like during this 21st century, there are different policy, different laws related to make children sit in the mainstream educations. Like in India, we have right to educations act we have. And in India, we also have the education as a fundamental right. Like it is not only obligations, moral obligations, but this is the fundamental right. Whosoever born in India, the kids has a right to get free and compulsory educations, like from 6 to 14 years, like talking about the elementary educations, like class 1 to 8. they will get the free and compulsory educations. So now the approach we are following, like inclusive education, where all children, all students, irrespective of their socioeconomic backgrounds, irrespective of their abilities, whether they are the slow learners or whether they are the advanced learner or they are the average learners. Despite all this, despite all like races, religions, language, culture, they are allowed to sit in the same classroom. And this is the approach that we in India we follow, and we call it inclusive educations. Now coming to the very pertinent term, that is the deep learning, the key term of our seminar conference theme, deep learning. But respected all delegates and my dear students, especially I'm targeting to students so that they're the very beginner and they have very fertile mind to learn the things very quickly. So deep learning, have you tried to understand the term? What does it mean, like deep learning, and why the this term particularly arises and catching the eyes of everyone? Like everywhere, if you go happen to attend any seminars or conferences, you will happen to listen deep learning, AI, multicultural educations, digital pedagogy. Everywhere you happen to see, but sometimes we forget to understand the basic concept of the deep learning. Deep learning actually, if you talk about the 20 years before, when our classroom system was teacher centered and student centered, different two different approaches there. So teacher centered, where suppose one class is meant for 1 hour, so 95% time will be consumed by teacher, and only 10% or 5% sometime they will give uh, 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 dear moderator ma'am, I will ask to skip the slide. You just keep it here only. So that time, like we have the teacher centered and student centered. So teacher centered, teacher was the authority. Everything evolves around the teachers. So that time, the types of education, the education students they were acquiring was rote learning, memory based. There was no ample space or the opportunities for learner to engage themselves, like hands-on activities, or like before, resource speaker was talking about the flip learning. So flip learning is also a kind of student-centered approach. But now we are gradually shifting from teacher-centered approach to student-centered approach. Now education system totally evolves around the students, like all the curriculum, methods of teaching, the ambience, environment, everything, uh, everything are rearranged, restructured with according to the need, interest, and abilities of learners, so that their future will be more bright and they will become a good citizen of a nation. So that was the concept of student center. So in deep learning, there are some few things when we lecture in the classroom. That time, not only the understanding part, but the topic we are teaching, student must try to understand it in a very deep way, and so that they can apply it, they can analyze the concept, and they can also reflect, they can also put forward their opinion. And obviously, it also, this process also involves the critical thinking that many speakers previously they have spoken very nicely. I'm not going to that. So that was also involved problem solving and the integrations of knowledge of personal knowledge and the cultural knowledge. And nowadays another term is like more focusing, that is decolonizing and giving the prominence to the local knowledge. Why this is so? Because we, the South Asia nations, different nations were colonized. We got the independence. at certain period. So Britishes, they have ruled us and they have lived the culture and they have created a system that is only caters to the needs of the mainstream. So when the curriculum is framed looking at the certain section of the society, then the remaining part, the diversity, like in India, we have around 20,000 languages. Can you imagine? Like we have 20,000 languages, including dialects, and 22 uh, constitutionally enlisted language we have. So many languages, so many cultures we have, and all the like students from different culture, they're coming and sitting in the same classroom. So it is very essential for us to connect the knowledge or the topic that we are communicating with them, that should be related to their culture, that should be related to their family culture, their societal culture, and that should we call it like students background knowledge, like what they have come with. They are, obviously they haven't come with the empty mind, like they have come with their culture, their traditions, their lifestyles, everything. So now coming to the digital pedagogy, like how digital pedagogy will help us to nurture the uh, lingualism in the classroom. And that like for this multilingualism, like I must say, like especially after like pandemic, like all the like Zoom, whatever the platform, online platform we have, the all of a sudden rise after the pandemic only. So during the pandemic, we took like so lots of classes. We attended so many webinars, conferences during the pandemic, and that gives the boost up uh, for the digital pedagogy. So now digital pedagogy, in a sense, like here, talking about the various things, like digital pedagogy can be act as a vehicle for the harmony, like harmony in a role like fostering inclusions, intellectual understanding, and emotional well-being. But there are some key challenges. There are some key challenges that in digital transformations, especially when talking about like digital education, the e-learning. That time, obviously, we need to have the gadget or mobile or tablet. We need to have the solid internet connections. We need to have accessibility. But we know the nations is very difficult to have like everywhere. That's why we have the digital divide. Like if you compare the rural and urban populations, so urban student, they will have better access, better facilities, everything compared to the rural area. So that is like the problem. Then we see the digital content. Earlier beginning time, we the digital content are available was having the like more beneficial way. But nowadays digital content or digital platform, whatever we have, it also have some personal benefits. If something is started, it's not meant for the benefits of for everyone. There is certain economic agenda behind it. They want their self promotions or maybe some other kind of advertisement. So we have to, even the content like digital content available, that is also not like as per the students pace of understanding. It's not like customized, it's not individually customized, and top of that, it's not culturally relevant. Suppose you want to read a topic on uh, on maybe like inclusive education, you want to read the topic on inclusive education. there to make the concept clear to students. You will not get the examples from your own culture, from your own local knowledge, local traditions. So if you are not able to use the local content, local examples, it would be difficult for us like educator to make our learner understand. So we have to make the content culturally relevant. Then next problem that we see, that is the teacher preparedness and design ethics. So sometimes we used to say during pandemic, like digitally handicapped. Like still we are like there are like so many teachers, educators, like they are not technologically that much skilled. So we have to focus on the teachers training also. Like we have to train the teachers in different aspects of digital pedagogy, so that the transformations can lead to have a better result, better outcome. Then we should also like the challenges is like sometimes we focus on the technology, not the art of teaching. Like we have the like smart class, smart board we have, then we have the projector. So we are not focusing like how we can utilize the projector in a better way, how we can utilize the smart board in a better way, but we focus on the technology. So that is the another problem. Please next. Next. Yeah. So if you see the literature review also, if you see it happens like all the studies, they are like focusing on the technology instead of the pedagogy. So now coming to the another term, that is CRP, like culturally responsive pedagogy. The pedagogy which consider the background knowledge of the learners, the cultural knowledge of the learners. That is talking about the culturally responsive pedagogy. The pedagogy, like the way we teach, we should use those kind of pedagogy that will help us to connect students in a multiple way. Like we have to use the multilingual materials, like inclusive education. There are diverse learners, and sometimes due to linguistical diversity, suppose in our classroom we have Bengali, then we have Hindi, then we have Tamil. So in a classroom where multilingual students are present, that time if we utilize uh, only one language as a medium of instruction, that means all students will not understand. So there we have the multilingual text. Like we should provide the multilingual text, like the topic we are teaching, that should be available in multiple languages. So that is the culturally responsive pedagogy. Then coming to the DHP, that is digital harmony pedagogy. So this is the theoretical concept. I framed it so that we can make the digital pedagogy more effective in our classroom. So it has three basic key theory, like culturally responsive pedagogy. Then we have the post-colonial or decolonial theory, and then we have the design justice. So post-colonial or decolonial theory, here I would like to say, like recently, I'm also guiding the PhD students, like 4 students, they're working under my supervisions. So I happen to collab with the Bhutan. Say Bhutan, we know like GNH, gross national happiness, and Indian, we have the Indian knowledge system. So we were trying to we are trying to uh, have integrations, so that we can decolonize the elements of the syllabus which are no longer pertinent to our country, that should be omitted. and the content more relevant, or from where we can through which we can connect our students in a more better way. We can make our students more better understand the concept. So that is, so the initiative we have taken like GNH and IKS, this is one of the project that currently I am working. So that one, this is also a part of decolonizing, like bringing out the local knowledge, the Indian knowledge system. And Bhutan, we know like gross national happiness. So that is the thing. And the conceptual, the digital harmony pedagogy, the conceptual model is have like three pillars, three interconnected elements. One is empathy and emotional presence. Another, we have intercultural collaborations. And the last one, we have the contextualized technological choice. So the empathy and emotional presence, the content, the classroom we are dealing with, that should be empathetically. We should understand students going to their level, not like sympathy. Just we have to empathize so that we can understand their requirements, their pace of learning, their interest, and accordingly we can mold our way of teaching. Accordingly, we can adopt different pedagogical innovations to make our classroom more effective. Then we have intercultural collaborations. Uh, like we should have the collaborations between different cultures within the nations and across the nations. And the last one, we have contextualized technological choice. That is the not all available technology we should use. We should mindfully select the appropriate technology and the effective technology that can be utilized for the betterment of the classroom learning. Now, how we can operationalize this in our higher educations. So our keynote speaker, she very nicely presented the roadmap for the multicultural educations, how we can adopt the culturally relevant, culturally responsive pedagogy. So here also we have like curriculum mapping, like we have to integrate the local knowledge. Like in India, we have IKS, Indian knowledge system, with the local content. The first of all, we have to focus on the curriculum. Then we have to focus on the faculty development in culturally digitized pedagogy. Then we have the inclusive assessment and multilingual resources that I just slightly spoken. So here the proposed empirical study, if anybody wants to do the research, like how digital harmony pedagogy affects the classroom system or the learning system. So anybody can take a micro level study to see the impacts or to evaluate the digital harmony pedagogy effects on empathy, engagement, and equity using the mixed method research. Some recommendations are there, like we can institutionalize the digital harmony pedagogy. Then we can have some little bit fund for the teacher training programs. Then another, we have some reforms we need to have in our assessment system to value cultural and community knowledge. In our exam also, like there is little space to have the knowledge where our students, they will like feel connected, like this part is from our community, this part from our tradition or culture. We are more into like job oriented and technology oriented, so we have to integrate the community knowledge also. Then we have to prioritize ethical, inclusive, technological procurement. Then at the very end, we can say like digital technology can foster harmony when grounded in empathy, collaborations, and contextual relevance. Digital harmony pedagogy offers a pragmatic, research-informed framework for culturally inclusive and transformative educations. So this is a very brief lecture I have given. I don't know how much I could deliver, but this was a very uh, brief lecture from my end. And I hope students they got my points, especially the deep learning part, then the IKS Indian knowledge system, then gross national happiness, and how we can better better select the digital tools, not every tools but the relevant tools, and how we can make the local knowledge utilized in our curriculum and focus for the culturally responsive pedagogy. So I would like to thank you, the organizer, for inviting me as a speaker and moderators. And also I would like to thank Devi Eliana madam, because she was the one who communicated everything. This was my first lecture. Last year, I remember I presented a paper for IFREL conference, and this time I got, so I feel so blessed. May Allah bless us to everyone, and we could follow the path of knowledge and lead our life better. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nawaz, for such a comprehensive and provocating presentation. Excellent. Okay, now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will open the question and answer session for our keynote speaker, our first, second, and third speaker. For this session, we will invite two participants to ask their question directly to Professor Sulis, or to Dr. Siti, or to Dr. Lalu, or to Dr. Nawaz. If you wish to ask your question, please raise your hand or use the raise hand feature on Zoom, and our technical team will assist me to unmute your microphone. For the rest of the participation and other participants, you are welcome to type your questions in the chat box. So we will read some of them, or the speakers can read directly and answer directly on the chat box. And then, so once again, we invite two participants to ask their questions, and we would like to start from the first one, please. Committee, can you help me? Is there any participant would like to ask a question and help me to unmute their microphone? There is no. We have the question on the box. Now, Mr. Yeah, maybe you can read. Mr.
Okay. This is the first question from Stepanus Aditya Pamungkas. Stepanus, are you there?
Yeah, maybe you can ask.
Okay,
read
maybe
the
I can
question.
read the question. The question is, how do address forms reflect the social hierarchy within a community? But actually, this question is not specifically mentioned to the speaker.
I think, hello, Mr. Aan. Because
Yeah.
I'm check at the response just now, I think this question addressed to me.
Oh, okay. Please, Dr. Lalu.
Okay, the question from how address form actually reflects social harmony within the community. It is, I give you insights from the Kampung Melayu Ampunan in Lombok just now. Since the language as a social mirror, Okay, so address form reveal how people perceive and navigate their status in social communities. And also, the address form also navigate the relationship within those communities. If we see from the power and solidarity based on the Brown and Gilman, for example, that they talk much about the power and solidarity dimension. The power actually ties, we can see from the titles formal term. For example, in Melayu, we call it Pakcik, Tuan, Puan. It is a signal, actually, the hierarchy. For example, specific example from the Dato, for example, it is the signal hierarchy or the authority or social distance between this community. And if we see from the solidarity, for example, the familiars or the affectionate bond, abang, adik, kakak, cici, and it is expressed equality. It is expressed the warmth. It is expressed the closeness within those communities. So the address form reflect the social hierarchies within this community with this formals, with the titles and formal term and etc. And also, the example if we see from the multilingual negotiations. It is a multilingual negotiation also. In diverse communities, for example, like Kampung Melayu Apenan, people borrow address them from different languages. What is the purpose? To break ethnic boundaries and show mutual respect each others. So it's very unique address form, sapaan in bahasa Indonesia. Bapak, Ibu, and etc. If you from the Malay community, the address form that they use is the Pakcik, Tuan, Puan, and etc. But if you want to China's community, you will call by the Koko or Cici and etc. So this is what I mean, the address form that reflect the social harmony within the community. I think that's all, Mr. An. Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lalu Yakin, for your answer. And let me ask for the Stephanus. Do you have any further question about the answer from the Dr. Lalu?
Stephanus is not here.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Having lunch.
Okay, allow me to move forward to the next question. I think this will be the last question, the committee. Okay, for the question is addressed to Professor Dr. Sulistiarini. It is from Zaskia Tri Hasana. The question is, what are the challenges in implementing multicultural education and how to deal with them?
Yes, thank you, Director, and thank you, Hasana. Sudah. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the moderator. Yes. As we know, there's now the challenge of the multicultural education nowadays. As we know, this is as we know, there's in the society, we still see the conflict, or with the ethnic conflict, with the religions, and conflict with the culture. So that's why it is some of the challenges, I think, and this is some of the uh, obstacles, I think, to realize about the multicultural education itself. And the solution, I think, is first, yes, we must be known to the our student if it in the education in our in school or etc. We should know to our student about the about the diversity itself, about the differences itself, and about the various of values in the society, values of ethnic in the society. Why they like that? Why they do like that? So if if we have know about this, we hope from the student, we hope from our student will be understand, will be comprehend. And if they understand, they comprehend, they will be personalized about the different itself in their mind and will be realized in their activity to yes to respect each other, respect with the differences, respect about the diversity itself. uh, Beside that, we can do in, especially in the education, in the class for the teacher. Yeah, we can habituation. The teacher is not as a role model, I think, when he or she teaches the students. We can design the learners in the groups. We can design in the learners with the discussion in the small group with the variety of the a student itself with the different background like the males, religions, ethnics itself. And beside that, we can use too, uh, yeah, some of the models of teaching itself. As we know that from the theory, that some models can be areas about the value, uh, about the value, difference value. I think this is my question for who is answer saya ya. Sorry.
Uh,
And of
the
Saskia.
question is from Zaskia. Yes.
Oh,
So,
Saskia. Sorry. Yes, Saskia. May I continue another answer for another questions?
Ibu, we come to the end, and that is the last question. And for
Okay.
others, if you are interested to know more, you can send email to our beloved great speakers.
Okay.
Is it okay, Professor Suli?
Yes. Okay. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
this is from
Well, ladies and
Soki. Yeah.
gentlemen,
The same. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stella. Mrs.
okay, thank you, Prof. Suli. Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this inspiring and insightful sessions of the International Multicultural Education Conference, or IMIEC 2025, allow me to express our deepest gratitude to all our distinguished speakers who have shared their invaluable knowledge and perspective today. Our sincere appreciation goes to Professor Dr. Sulistiarini from Indonesia, our keynote speaker, for her enlightening address that set the tone for today's discussions. We also extend our heartfelt thanks to our first speaker, Dr. Siti Fatima Abdurrahman from International Islamic University Malaysia, our second speaker, Dr. Lalu Nurul Yakin from the University of Brunei Darussalam, and our third speaker, Dr. Nawaz Sarif from Adamas University, India. Thank you all for your thought-provoking ideas and meaningful contributions that have enriched our understanding of how education can foster harmony, inclusivity, and transformation in this multicultural and technological era. We also convey our sincere appreciation to the organizing committee, participants, and collaborating institutions who made this event possible and successful. Before the moderators, obviously close, allow me to end with a simple pantun again. a token of gratitude from Indonesia. Bunga melati harum mewangi, tumbuh indah di tepi taman. Terima kasih hadirin yang berbudi. Semoga berjumpa lain di lain kesempatan. And I will translate. The jasmine bloom with fragrant grace, growing lovely by the garden side. Thank you all for your warmth and embrace. May we meet again with joy and pride. Once again, thank you for your attention and participation. May the spirit of collaboration and harmony continue to guide our educational journey across nation. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you again in the next IMEC conference. From Department of Sociology Education and the Department of Social Studies Education, FKIP, Teachers Training and Education Faculty, Universitas Tanjung Pura, Pontianak, Indonesia, turning back to MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof. Sulis, Dr.
Thank you,
Nawas,
thank you.
Dr.
Thank you
Siti.
very much to all
Yes,
speakers,
And
our
Dr.
good
Nawas.
doctor, Miss Stella
Dr.
Francisca,
Stella.
Thank you so
and
much,
every
organizers and
participant
everyone.
who has attended today's seminar. Before we close this event, let us take a group photo session with dear participant. Please can turn off your camera so we can capture this memorable moment together.
Okay, let me have you to okay. Then you turn on your camera and this a picture. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, the next slide is number 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the IMEC International Seminar and Call for Paper 2025. On behalf of the organizations committee and REP, we thank you for your attention, your valuable contribution, and your enthusiasm. Mind the seminar before a meaningful platform to foster harmony, multicultural understanding, and innovation in education around the world. I'm Dr. Intan Kusumawati, MPD, your Master of Ceremony, sign off. See you at the next IMEC International Seminar and Call for Paper. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and have a wonderful
Warahmatullahi
day.
wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima
thank
kasih
you.
all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See you again.
And thank
Ya,
you,
thank you,
Bapak Sabra
Prof.
Sulistyarini. Thank
Yeah,
you,
Mas
Dr.
Adi, thank you.
Nawas Arif.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss and Mr. Izin live ya.
Thank you, Dr. Intan.
Ya, yes, Mr. Hadi.
Izin live ya, Pak Hadi. Izin live, Miss Hadi.
Ya,
Mr. Hadi.
silakan, Prof.
Ya, Prof.
Sulis.
Thank you very
Silakan,
much,
Bu
Prof.
See
Stella.
you. Oke,
Ya, see you
sehat-sehat
again.
semuanya.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang di ruangan boleh kita berfoto dulu. Yang di ruang sidang. Pak Iman juga ya. Pak Iman, boleh Pak Iman jika bersedia nanti kita ke ini ruang sidang ya untuk foto bersama ya. Pak
Offline ya,
Iman kan di lab.
foto offline ya Pak Hadi ya.
Iya, Pak Iman, Bu Uci,
Ya,
ya,
juga Pak
jika
Hadi.
bersedia untuk ke ruang sidang.
Kalau mahasiswa atau dosen. Ya, halo Pak Hadi.
Ya, pemberitahuan